Just outside the last station, they uncoupled Edna and Clarabelle, and then Thomas, who was still hissing fit to burst, chuffing over Snubberna and still healing over much over still healing over saw on Thomas eating it out of the way. And all the God telleth her and all the God telleth her of an engine inspector, and the foreman was potting out of there a chaffer notices in large letters which hung on Thomas in front and ahead, danger, keep away, song. Inspector and the head controller appeared. Charlotte Thomas, I said, this one puts off it. The chief and what had happened after he noticed it in large letters. A few papers blocked, said the inspector. I'll just look in the text. He leaned up and peered in. Then he came down. After I saw something strange flipping about. Excuse us, sir, he said to the controller. Please look in the tank and tell me what's wrong, sir. Said an inspector. He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. Inspector, he whispered, "Kennel, sir, fish." Gracious goodness me, I didn't the fish get that shiver. The controller. Thomas's David scratched his head. He must have fished them on their way without bucket. About it. Then the head controller laughed. Well, Thomas, sir, Robin or Jafer has been fishing. But fished at so he must get them out. Sir, the Jafer and the fishermen fetched rods and nets, and they all took turns at fishing at Thomas's tank. All the head controller them out at all. When they had caught all the fish, the station master gave them some tight spuds. The Javer barber a fine pin, all the fishermen made a purpose hit the lead and did the cocking. Then they all had a lovely picnic supper of fish and chips. It was good, said the victim. She'd finished this, a fish tastes so Thomas, mustn't have it again. Nurse, it's Thomas, engines, for fishing, it's so uncomfortable. And it's been fixed all over. And on the shoulder, I remember shots, it done come back people and it was great working some trained people. In course, what's for me, wasn't us. It not be it at all.
Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. Early in the morning, just as day is dawning, he picks up all the post bags in his van. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. All the birds are singing, and the day is just beginning. Pat feels he's a really happy man. Everybody knows his bright red van. All his friends will smile as he waves to greet them. Maybe you can never be sure. There'll be knock, ring, letters through your door. Postman Pat, Postman Pat, Postman Pat, and his black and white cat. All the birds are singing, and the day's just beginning. Pat feels he's a really happy man. Pat feels he's a really happy man. Pat feels he's a really happy man.
Thomas Tubbins and listener. Take one. Autumn was changing the leaves from green to brown. The fields were changing too, from litter stubble to burnt earth. As Thomas puffed along his branch lead, yet the chug 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 of the tractor hard at work. Pick it a bucket, 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 pick it a bucket. One river, an autumn day, stopping for the signal and heaving one river, minute rest. He saw the tractor was there, and the tractor came over to Thomas. He'd never met him, for a long time, and Thomas hadn't seen a tractor plowing in the field for a long time too. Pick it a bucket, 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 pick it a pick it a bucket. Hello, said the tractor, being cheerful and pleased to see Thomas. It turns in plowing. It Thomas in pulling a train. What unclear riddles we've got. We're not unclear, they're caterpillars, said Tubbins, explaining that he had some sorts of flat ears which are not roundness on rubber, which favour non-rubber much rubber at all. Favour rubber much like metal. It is made because they have them long round, but not rubber, much circle round. It can enter an ether need rails. It wanted enter said Thomas Hustler in need me rails, think so. Thomas often saw Tubbins working, but Miss old Tubbins never answered. Winter came, and with it, dark over clouds full of snow. His jibber was looking over. matter about all this earth and earth. It was being rather troublesome, and it could make things rather awkward. None of it is as simple of an engine lead Thomas committed on for weather. It liquid, he said. I heard the phone is coming. If it doesn't stop us. But Thomas was being rather stubborn. Poor, he said, seeing us merit on the rails. Soft stuff, nothing to it. And it puffed on feeling, but confident. They finished their dinner safely, but I noticed the country was covered as they finished their dinner safely. And the rails were tall, dark leads standing out in the kitchen. You'll need your snurp for the You'll need your snurp for the next dinner, Thomas, said his jeeper. Poor snurp is said as soft stuff. It won't stop me. Hey, listen to me, his jeeper appeared. I'm hoping to fix your snurp on, and it want no nonsense, please. But Settler Thomas did make some other strange nonsense about the snurp. It was heavy and uncomfortable, and made Thomas cross. He was curving mid of it. He shook it and banged it. And when they got back, it was for David, but the jibber had to take it off. Oh, not an engine, said his jibber. She shut the shed door at Ned. The next morning, first jibber and feeling came early, and worked on to mend the snurp, but they couldn't make it fit properly. It was tearful the first time. Thomas was pleased. It sounded baby, it sounded baby. He puffed it out and went about. It hurt so big, it hurt so big. And he whispered, leaning over and sister, trumpet mother. The jibber was ancestral. It's not better, he said, Thomas even, but it's not a bit cheap in the villa. It was nervy again when Thomas started, but the rails were not covered. Said a soft stuff, he puffed. It didn't need the strong thing yesterday, and the sound today. Snurp can't stop now, and the rustings from the tunnel, thinking how clever he was. At the other end of the tunnel, he saw a heap of snurp falling from the seats of the cushion. Stella, snurp, said Thomas, and chanted it. This was a big mistake. He didn't get full of just painstaking hobby. What? It isn't business, said Thomas. It's stuck. And it was. Thomas, it's his jigger. Thomas did, but his little spanner couldn't move. Master and Peter and arranged him. The God and that's the head on the jigger, the human, and the passengers cheated him. There's no way. But as fast as they dug, Moss and Earth slipped down until Thomas was now the bigger. Oh, there's a company rot, said Thomas. It's hard if to stop her till the version. What a sinner engineer. And Thomas began to cave. At last, and something in a distance, a buzzard from all the passengers. It took them to the place they needed to. Poor Thomas was feeling nervous and hurt. And he heard a familiar noise. Oh, yes, it was Travis he met this morning. He jumped on the tunnel and pulled away into Kirk's, and it was Thomas's turn. Thomas was in the car, but still spun helplessly, and it chased more. Terence tugged and slipped and tugged. Poorly hard. Only one rubber. With great effort, he jerked Thomas into the tunnel. It is on the journey of think not, Herbert. Your caterpillars are splendid, said Thomas gratefully. They're sensible now, Thomas, said his dear Savannah. Oh, dear, said Thomas. She puffed her. It's been this week's order. It's been this week's order. And on the next order, coming over. I'm shocked and not nervous. So, Thomas and Peter. One river. One river. In day, Thomas was waiting at the junction when a bus came into the yard. Thomas said on the bus, "Hello, oh, what's it? Oh, hello, a bitter, oh, if Thomas, he run this lead. Sure, Thomas. Ah, you remember now, I'm stuck in the snow. It took your passengers and Tibbetts pulled you out. You've come to talk with your passengers today. This made Thomas cross. Isn't me? Said Thomas crossly and curving broader than ever and letting off steam. You can curve faster than you. You can't. You can. You can't. You can. I'll hit then. I'll race you, said Berta. And Jabez agreed to one river special race. The station master said, "Oh, you'll hit it. Curve, never off." Thomas never could curve fast at first. So Berta was in front. Thomas was running over later, and he did not have her. It did so too fast. 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 Oh, it's just wait and sir. Wait and sir. Is Thomas. He's a long way ahead. A long way ahead. I know. Eating rubber. Eating rubber. But Thomas didn't need rubber much. He remembered a level crossing. That was better for me at the gate. I sailed gaily for. Could be better, thought Thomas. Left the railway and then for a visit. I couldn't stand better much. I didn't stand one rather small space of him, just curving along a short cut, not round this and this. I stopped at the station. Quick nap last. Old Thomas, if about her got out. Quick snap, and off I went again. Come along, said Thomas. Come along, said Gerda, and Have a, said Thomas, looking straight ahead. And he whistled, Sailor and Harper. it was crossing the railway bridge for the railway. Talking to infants on his horn. Ha 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 ha. Thomas. He's a long way in front, a long way in front. I would better and clever better. It is eating other. Instead of Thomas, said his driver, it, better and clever better. To Thomas briefly. Oh, Arthur, there's a station. Yes, I stopped. He had a taunt. Ha, 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 ha. Then he did another unexpected surprise. Could be Thomas, must be cheered. Thomas, it can't stop. The buses are just working there. Could be. The next station must be the river. They got the picture, but the signal was up. Thomas, he's lost. But he's had better after drink. Then James, it will fall to the goods train. And the signal dropped, and it was caught rather off of Thomas Gaylor. As they run past a page, they had an impatient ha ha. Nervous bit waiting at the red lids, or cars and others cross the narrow page in the opposite direction. Virgin Railway and up the villa, side by side, a stream tumbling between. Thomas had not crossed the bridge when it started with a roar and soon shot ahead. Passengers hearing the excited in training bus turned and shouted across the villa. Now Thomas reached his full speed and foot by foot, yard by yard, going to now the running level. It had speed hard, but Thomas was too fast. He tore the head and listening to it infinitely. He plunged into the tunnel, leaving Berta toiling over far behind. If he was curving to catch her, "You've done it! You've done it!" Mr. Thomas in the tunnel. "You've done it hooray! You've done it hooray!" chanted about and whistling proudly. They hopped out of the tunnel and into the station and proudly won the race. The passengers gave Thomas a charge and the station master and the porters all about the race. and bit I'm in. I gave him a chance to. Well done, Thomas, said Bitter. It was fun, but the beach it is what have to means an airplane. Thomas and Bitter now keep it Bitter. Bitter is people in the villages want to the train and takes them to Thomas, or Thomas brings people to the station or Bitter to take her. They often talk about the special race, but Bitter's passengers certainly been bounced in the peas in the feeding pan, and the second partner has warned Thomas not to race at danger speeds, so over just between and they would need to have another special race. It should think that working to told it total, and it's in this installer the map on an installer coming with a soon. And the elephant. And Gordon and Erdner ran Erdner and Thomas with the yacht on his broad sleeve. They missed him much. They'd more work to do. They couldn't wait and said it was too. Oh no. They had to fetch they'd more work to do. They couldn't wait and said it was too. Finna curses at the platform all her. I had to fix them, all them. I had to fix them themselves. I didn't need that. Not another small bit. It was some tips in odd spots and served to James. But James soon started grumbling too. The fit concerner Kinder gave Henry and Gordon no kiss of paint. Henry was keen, but they still grumbled over Fitzler. He couldn't rest, he couldn't rest. They complained so clicked about the yard. But the curses burned and laughed. You're nicer and slick. You're nicer and slick, they answered in their critical way. But when a circus came to town, the engines forgot they were eating over tea. They all wanted something with a special tugs and with a special curses. They were just jealous of James, and if it concerned him to pull the train when the circus went away. However, they soon forgot about the animals, so plenty of work to do. No wonder in morning Henry was to take some workmen of the tunnel which was blocked. He grumbled away to feed the tall trucks to cover the workmen that tools. He was muttering to himself in a sulky way. Pushing trucks, pushing trucks, pushing trucks, pushing trucks, pushing trucks. He muttered in a sulky way. They stopped outside the tunnel and Fitz looked through it. And it was clear dark and strangely daylight shone from the other end. The workmen took the tools and looked inside. Suddenly they all shouted, "Oh! Oh! 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 Oh!" They all ran out. Looking frightened and shocked. Not one of them would ever get some of a strange shit they saw. It was hit with a scarlet and strange. Look, he went on the block and started to dig. But as he started to dig, it grunted and moved. I said, the foreman said, "Go on, get out of it. It's rubbish." It's not rubbish. It's big and alive and I'm not hurting. I'm not hurting. You can have it again. Sure, there. I'll get then. I'll get in the truck and in the side, push his buckets out of the way. Please. He's in the unhipped there. He hated tunnels. He remembered the time he'd been shut up in one, but this was worse. There was something in big and much live instead. He was thought, "It just want to go in near the tall air," said his neighbour, "but we must cover the leg." Puffed in the sights advancing from the darkness. But suddenly they found the blockage, and it wasn't big and loose. Then the neighbour shut off steam at once. And that's moving backwards. And in the what's on in there? It's on the blockage. It's here not pushing it. It's pushing there. And slowly moving items from the dining unit. First came in there, and the trucks, and last of all, pushing hard and rather cross came a large elephant. "Well, it never did," said the foreman. "It's an elephant from the circus." Then the driver put on the brakes, and the men then telephoned on the keeper. The elephant stopped pushing and came towards them. They gave him some sandwiches and a cake. So he forgot he was cross and remembered he was hungry. He drank buckets of water without stopping and was just curving to drink another when Henry let off steam. "Oh!" said the elephant. He squirted water all over Henry by mistake. Henry. When the keeper came, a workman heard Hitler in the tracks laughing at the adventure. But Henry was cross. "An elephant Bosner! An elephant Bosner!" He was of a sulker and cross all day, and his curses had a uncomfortable tea. Tenders and turntables. The big stations at both ends of the lane, each with a turntable, a fit controller at the maid, so that Edward and Gordon and James can be turned round. It is dangerous and not safe for tender engines to occur fast backwards. Tank engines need Thomas Putney turntables. They never use them often. They can occur just as well backwards as forwards. But if Gordon talking a short will occur, one would have thought that the second controller had given him a tender, just as important and handsome he was. He was talking to Thomas on same day at a small junction. "You don't understand it, old Thomas," said Gordon. the tender engines in a position to keep up. Well, isn't a tendon that makes a difference? It doesn't matter where you occur, but they are important. And for the fit concern to make us some trucks fetch curses and curb on some of those ditch settings. It's not a proper thing. Gordon puffed away in a dignified manner. Thomas chuckled and went off his dinner and took it then. He was thinking that Gordon had been looking upset about something. Amazed at the turn of us, Gordon waited till all the passengers had got out. Then, turning and grumbling, Jitzler and Crossler, he shunted the coaches to another platform. Disgraceful. He hissed as he bent backwards on the turntable. The turntable was in one in the place close on the step. But he was not on it just yet. He put it out of balance and made it hard to turn. Didn't feel as simple. He found it hard and frustrating. Today Gordon was in a bad temper and the wind kept on blowing. His driver tried to make him stop in the red place. Backwards and forwards they went, but Gordon wasn't speeding much. At last Gordon's driver gave a tug. The ferryman turned the handle, and Gordon's weight and the strong wind prevented him. This wasn't round a turning out, God. It's no God, I said at last. Your tender upsets the balance. Now, if you were a nice tank engine, all right. Now you'll have to pull the next train backwards. Gordon was immersed, upset, and calm. Gordon came to the platform. Some little boy shouted, "Come quick, there's a new tank engine." What a space, they said when they came near. It's hurt that Gordon back to front. Gordon hissed, emotionally. He puffed to the junction. Thomas was there. He saw his friend chuffing backwards and thought it the most of a strange and of a silly thing he'd ever seen. Helper, he called plain tank engines, sensible engine. Tight made there, scrape your tender, live in this bunk instead. Gordon snorted, and he didn't answer. Even James saw this. Rather funny and of a strange laugh. He saw him. Take care, Miss Gordon. amidst it all, and rough chuckled James. "He'd not, set us all. He was needing to make so if he can get us working well, it mustn't stick," thought James. Thought James. Anxiously went on the turntable later. He stopped on just the right place to balance the table. It could nice easily. A wind puffed him round near the top. He couldn't stop. Now he was feeling dizzy and giddy after spinning round and round in circles on the turntable. But this isn't fun. It is unfun and unexpected. At last, a wind teared down, and James stopped turning. Yes, it did. His face was looking keen, as he was eating guitar, but not before Gordon, who had been turned on an old plane, had seen him. Well, he said, "Our old plane round about." James, feeling giddy and off into the shed without a word. Detonate the fire indeed. Detonate the fire engines and indignation meeting. It's shameful and they're to cheat in the engines near this, and they give their controller one big blame. Henry gets ostriches, elephants. Gordon is the backwards, and people think he's a tank engine, and James spins round like a top, and everyone laughs at us, and add to that, the head controller makes us some tugs in data settings. Set all engines together, and Gordon at one matter, and clever guitar. "Listen," he said. He whispered something to the others. They listened to what Gordon was saying for their carefully and calmly. Gordon was explaining to them about the plan they would need to make it longer, broad, and make it work out the non. They need to work it out well. If got an it or even it is some engines or they're not better for some work. Ask what been taught when I see this company. And it's in the streets of in on the shoulder. On the other. No. Just kidding, it's just start in short and not coming so